Everybody wants something. Starr wants Jesse to be the new Messiah. Granny wants a whole lot of souls. Eccarius wants to prove himself a true companion to Cassidy. And Hitler just wants to stay out of hell. And the whole, overthrow of the Zionist government and everything. But getting what you want is a much more complicated ordeal, especially when everyone is vying for control. It's the ever-shifting reins of power. On this week's Preacher, Season 3, Episode 7. Hilter. Hilter? Hilter. Hilter? Hey everyone, D here, and welcome to this week's review of Preacher. So yes, of course, lots of spoilers ahead. Alright, so, yeah, definitely a lot of shifting reins of power this episode. A lot of people grasping for what they want and then it being taken away or shifted or kind of handed back and around. So a lot of fun kind of this episode, and we got some really big reveals towards the end. But let's start things off with our our name of the episode here, Hilter. David Hilter, as Hitler is going with. And I had to say, it took me a moment to sort of grab that shift. In fact, even this episode, in a lot of places, it's being listed as Hitler and not Hilter. Of course, really dealing with Hitler's alter ego. Working at the grinder, the Maxi Grinder Subway shop, and seeming to really enjoy his work. I mean, being part of it, he's Employee of the Week, covering for his boss Marty, who is just like the man in what I'm only assuming is a very, very small town. But yeah, so we kind of seem like it looks like Hitler's, re-entering life. He's maybe shifted things around, maybe turned over a new leaf. And we get to think about that for just a few minutes. I have to say, I loved the black family coming in, and he's just smiling, and he's piling on the avocados. Oh, you must be so proud. I mean, again, it really, the beginning of the episode really plays off nicely, just giving us that moment that maybe Hitler isn't Hitler. But of course he is. Just give him a moment to start to rant, and that little bit of Jew-hatiness starts to sneak out. Love that speech. Only in the sense, I mean, it was nasty. Definitely when you start thinking about extermination and overthrow of the Zionist government and everything. I mean, not really going in a good place there. But the fact he does it completely in German, and really done beautifully well, looking and feeling like a Hitler speech. And inspirational. Nobody knows what the hell he's saying. But they definitely seem to agree with him, which is, again, just showing that charisma of Hitler, one of the reasons why he was able to do so much frickin' damage. But his plans do not last that long as soon as the Saint of Killers shows up. And I love, again, we had that kind of, that shifting of power going on here. We have Hitler starting off, no, I don't want to go back, I've got plans, hey, I could use you. I mean, it's that same kind of falling apart. Oh, no, I'm going to tell you what I've got, then I'm going to try some negotiation, and then I'm going to plead, no, I just need to do this, you can't stop. It's just kind of a perfect degradation. What is Hitler going to do for the Saint of Killers? And again, we still even get some more of that power shift as Marty, the boss, sort of comes out. And tries to stand up. No, you can't take my person away. Yeah, you don't talk like that to the Saint of Killers. Just back the hell. Saint of Killers beat up Hitler's boss. So yeah, of course he's going to be beaten up. That's just, again, not only are you tougher than Hitler, you're tougher than Hitler's boss. So, I mean, I think that's kind of a nice statement right there. I loved Eugene's just sort of peeking his head out. I never should have let you out. No, you shouldn't have, Eugene. That was a mistake. But we understand he's very good at manipulating. But not that good. And we get A cliche that's actually used a couple of times in this episode. The classic, I'm not going to do something. In this case, I am not going to go back. I'm not going back. And then, of course, in the next scene, what's he doing? He's being dragged off back to hell. Now, if we're talking about people vying for power, we, of course, really are going to be focusing on Starr versus Granny Longelle. A wonderful meeting. Loved seeing the two of these very strong, powerful manipulators face to face, each trying to get what they want. And I really love the kind of back and forth between the two characters. Even though most of that really involved Starr talking. Granny didn't have to say a whole lot. And it was fun just seeing. It's always great watching Starr deal with what he feels as pedantic individuals who want such base, simple things. I mean, really, he starts it out, well, we can fix up your house. You got some empty slave quarters. You want some of that? Yeah? Oh, no? Maybe a TV show. That would just take an email. Was perfect. And her response, I mean, it was great. It was so quiet, so simple, just reaching in, pulling out her little tube and just peeing on him. Just set the tube down and just let the pee drop right down onto his shoes. Yeah, that's her response. That's her offer. I want souls. That's all that Granny wants. Luckily, however, we have the Happy Soul Go-Go, the Japanese company, which is actually owned by the Grail. Of course it is. Why should we even be surprised at that? Okay, maybe a little bit, just, you know, worldwide powerful organization that deals with the connection between heaven and hell and all that, and yet they're taking people's souls. I guess partial souls. I guess that's not really against the whole God-heaven thing. I wonder how that actually plays out. Is that off the books? Not sure. However, to me, that's a really rough proposition, and I think this is where we're coming into a lot of the real vyings of power. Yes, Starr wants to get Jesse, wants to borrow him, and I think they're missing the points in dealing with Granny Longelle, because as TC has said, the debt is paid when Granny says it is. There's no quota. There's no line. There is no you do this and then it's done. We're constantly having Jesse talking about paying his debt and Granny insisting you need to pay your debt. And the only way he's going to be released is when that debt is paid. But that's only paid when Granny says it is. And the more she is being offered, the further and further away that line is going to be. Or the higher and higher that bar is going to be set, depending on how you want to look at it. And I think that's really where they're problem is. Starr should have started off dealing with Jesse's freedom. Granny, if there's one thing Granny clearly demonstrates in that scene, I love the telekinetic powers, new stuff always popping up with Granny, using that little bloody hanky there, throwing Jesse across the room, is that hunger of hers is going to be insatiable. She even throws that out right there. First, bring me what I want, then you can take Jesse, then you can borrow Jesse. Again, already those lines, those goalposts, as it were, are being shifted, are being moved ahead into a different position. So, and I mean, and I'm not saying that Starr isn't unaware or unable to negotiate, to adjust to all of that. But I think that he is underestimating Granny and her power and her hunger. And I think that that's going to end up being something that's really going to end up costing him at the end. Now, of course, one of the things that's going to be contributing to those complications is Featherstone. And more specifically, that animosity that she and Tulip have. One, we are hitting upon that O'Hare curse again. And Featherstone sort of lays into that a little bit here, talking about how Jesse would have been successful if Tulip hadn't just messed things up. All of those times would have been there so much quicker. Really, we're hitting this O'Hare curse a lot through this season. And even she brings that back up with Jesse sort of later on about her concerns that she's just going to mess things up. And Jesse, of course, trying to downplay, which is one of the great things about their relationship. And any, I think, real healthy relationship is when one person's down, the other one tries to pick them up, shove those doubts off, show them that they're really the toughest people that they can. God, what was the word? Not a survivor. Survivorist? You're the survivorist person I know. It's a word. It works. We know what he means. So that O'Hare curse thing definitely coming up. And yeah, Featherstone using that as kind of a bludgeon against it. But in that urge to keep hitting, she brings up Genesis by name, with TC in the room, and you know that he is going to go ass, which of course he does end up doing. I mean, and that's going to end up being that real complications. It's one thing that Granny has a chance to get a hold of a whole lot of souls. It's one thing to try and quench that unquenchable hunger of hers. It's another to have power over an individual who would have power over God. And I'm not sure if Jesse gets Genesis with the deal that he did with Granny, how much that he's going to fight back. Can he ignore it? Can he tell her? Will Genesis work against her in order to force her to give up that debt? Or is that something that Granny can be prepared for? Because she does seem to be aware of it. And you know that she would. I mean, even the whole back and forth scene. Genesis. It's a band, Genesis. It's a book of the Bible. No, I own the book. Not what is Genesis. What's a Genesis? No, Granny, of course, knows what that is. How long she's been around. All of her connections. Now, real power is at her potential hands. Star's going to be working really well. Everybody's going to be working real hard to try and keep that power from Granny, because that will only get bad. Cass looking pretty good, looking clean, looking kind of healthy, a little dapper even, I think. Sure, it's a more modern style, but I kind of like the pinstripes and the suspenders and everything. I think he's looking good. And you know, I gotta say, I really love that kind of initial point that he hit. We were talking about, that was it. There's no use getting soppy about how good things used to be. Most of the time, today is better. I think that's really, you know, that is a great thought. I mean, especially for a vampire who has seen so much, to really be able to put things in perspective. So if the kids, if our enfants du sang learn anything from Cassidy, I think that is a really important lesson. And Eccarius definitely working to bring Cassidy. Got a new coffin. Not really Cassidy's thing. Definitely very Anne Rice, traditional, expected romantic vampire. It's very flush. Ooh, the silk and everything in. Ooh, it's nice. So he's trying to, I mean, and see, that's the thing, and I think that's actually a really good arc that we have with Eccarius with this episode, because he does really seem to want to prove his companionship is true with Cassidy, that he really wants someone that he could connect with, that he could teach, that he could share. Now, he also wants to be able to share all the biting and the thing that's going on. Not Cassidy's thing. This is, you know, had bad results out of that. Understandable why he is reticent about it. But Lisa's up next, and he's got a little connection with Lisa. I don't know. Is that a little connection maybe gonna help ease things away from Tulip a little bit? Maybe show him some options in the world. That's always really nice. But Lisa's little story there on taking flight, time to fly, when everybody leaves, going off on their mission. Remember last week I was wondering, where are all the vampires that Eccarius is turning? Oh, they're off on mission. Once you turn, you go out in the world, you spread things, you set up little places, little connections, you open stuff up, make it so the vampires aren't as hunted, so people have such a safe place to go. Man, that sounds great. I mean, even for Cass, that sounded pretty good. But that is where the hints of the problems to come are really played. Because she said Eccarius has been doing this for 50 years. And he's turning people pretty regularly. Now maybe we didn't have the same group before, maybe it's a little smaller, maybe you parse things out, but here it's like every couple days he seems to be turning one, maybe a week. 50 a year, 100 a year, is he turning? 50 years, it's thousands across the world, cities. I would have thought that Cass would have run into it. And I think he's enjoying this story, but I think that's maybe something that's getting set in the back of his head. If all of these people are going out and they're setting up these wonderful things, why haven't I run into them? That's what's going to end up being the downplay right there. Because despite how much throughout the episode, again, Eccarius is working to show his companionship, show his friendship. He says, it's okay. I mean, after he gets him to turn Lisa. This is something that Cass doesn't want him to do. And then he's, even as that friend, it's okay to feel good. It's okay that it's all right. I mean, I don't know, Cass is a bit of a drug user himself. So, I mean, this is almost like a pusher thing. It's all right, take it, try it. It's okay. It'll be fine. You'll be better. You can do all this cool stuff. I mean, man, it takes a little while, I guess. Eccarius has been doing this so much. Maybe Cass needs to learn. Does he need more blood? Does it have to be fully fresh? Is that the whole thing, how all of those powers manifest? That was a great little scene. I love how Cass is trying to get the two girls to come, and then he looks behind him, and there's Eccarius. Oh, sorry, just trying to give you a hand. So, I mean, again, this is... Eccarius is working to seemingly show that he is on Cassidy's side. Even the whole scene just before Hoover and his group of Catholic Fight Club showed up to try and capture Cassidy and take out... He was saying, after that whole battle, after that whole thing went down, and Cass is like, oh my God, these people are after, it's the Grail, it's because of me, I've got to go. Eccarius throws out, no man, it's not they're after you, it's they're after us. You know that's exactly the stuff that the Castios go for. That's why they kiss, that's why the connection, that's why when Eccarius, after the whole deed, crawls into the coffin, Cass is open up, because he does. Eccarius has sold the story that he is on Cassidy's side, that he wants just what's best for Cassidy. And his fault isn't going to be just that he's actually a murderer. I love that we got that reveal. There is no flight. There never was. Because Eccarius doesn't like vampires. Doesn't like them at all. Everything about him is fake. The exact fear that Cassidy had, Eccarius is. He is fake. He despises other vampires. He despises vampirism. Everything that he has sold is completely a lie. And he is the worst of them all. But he does it just for the power, for the control, for the position. He lives the lie. And unfortunately, his last victim was Lisa, which is the one of those enfants that Cassidy seemed to like. As soon as he finds out that she's dead, he's going to be mad. I gotta say, though, I love that whole scene. I love the attack. I'm the worst of them all. Puts on the sunglasses, drive off, and that whole mass on the side of the road built in between the buildings there on the grass of just all of the vampires' smoking remnants, all of the ash piles of the vampires in the sun there is just, and you can see it just sort of stretches off into the distance. Yeah. So, yeah, Eccarius is full of shit, completely lying, despises vampires, and therefore hates himself. Is living the lie, wants to pull in Cass. Is he trying to keep him? I think maybe he's using Cass as a way to justify his own existence, that there is something out, that he does feel the same loss and emptiness and regrets that Cassidy does. He's just hiding it behind this fake Anne Rice facade. But as soon as Cass finds out, it is not going to go well for Eccarius. Now, like I had said, this episode deals a lot with shifting reigns of power. We have a lot of stuff back and forth between Starr and Granny. We, of course, have it going on with Hitler and the Saint of all killers. Well, Hitler's boss, the Saint of all killers, and all that. Plus, we even have, of course, Cassidy and Eccarius sort of playing around with as power shifts between the two of them. But the one scene that kind of, I think, exemplifies this so perfectly, because there are so many shifts of power within the scene, is when Starr and Jesse have to go in and break up Tulip and Featherstone in their little battle there, and Starr has to send Tulip off to Osaka to Soul Happy Go-Go, which is why that is our Scene of the Week for this week, because all of that constant shifting of power. I mean, as it starts out, we have, you know, Granny throwing down the gauntlet. Get me what I need, get me my souls, and then you can borrow Jessie. She has the power. It goes into the room, and it's Starr who suddenly has the power. Featherstone, get up, stop fighting, you're going to Osaka. Making commands, getting things happen. And then it shifts over to Jessie, who's looking over like, wait a minute, why are you sending her? I thought you had a whole team. What is it? My bench is only 2 people deep. All I have is her and someone less capable. So you lied. Yes, I lied to get what I wanted. You do that a lot? No more than industry standard. I mean, it's perfect. I mean, there is so much of that brilliant, quick back and forth in here between all of the characters. I think it's great. So it suddenly shifts over to Jessie, because Starr doesn't really have the capability, he doesn't have the manpower to get what needs to happen. But Jessie does, because he has Tulip. Tulip, you're going to Osaka. Then the power shifts right over to Tulip. Excuse me? Tulip, would you please go to Osaka and break into Soul Happy Go-Go so we can get our souls and get out of here? So suddenly Tulip has that. I mean, again, they get that great character back and forth. And even Featherstone tries to take a little bit of power there. Do you even know where Osaka is? Boom! That's a sucker punch. Yes. Yes, that was a sucker punch. That was perfectly done. I mean, even it was and then even again, Starr tries to manifest it out, you know, again when Jessie asks about security. How's security? Oh, it's not that bad. Shut up! It must be high. I mean, it's great. Again, we have Jessie just throwing Starr down, not trusting. So it's just constant. Everybody wants something, but they don't have the power, so they each have to work. The frustrating aspect of everyone having to work together when they really would rather be anywhere else, I think was just perfect. And so, yeah, that whole sequence, it's small, it's quick, but it is just a blast. Great character work. Great rapid fire back and forth, and again that constant shifting of power within just that one little sequence, like a pinball, man. Oh, and then right after that we get a repeat of our little Hitler cliche that we had in the beginning, the I'm not gonna do this, and then you do it in the next sequence, and that's of course Tulip. Only way to go to Osaka, she's gotta wear a Grail outfit. I'm not gonna wear that. And then what? Next scene, she's walking downstairs with the Grail outfit on. One of these days, I just want someone to interrupt themselves in the midst of one of those. Be like, I'm not gonna, never mind. I'm gonna end up doing it anyway. I'm just curious. Also, Tulip looks pretty good in that suit. Just saying. Now, of course, more of that continuing vying for power finishes up with Jessie finally in the car with Starr to go get the rest of his soul and get Genesis activated. But even then, again, little back and forth going on. I don't like the fact that they deal it. There is much about the interactions between Jessie and Starr that I really like. Starr, in some ways, is so practical. Yes, he's always got different schemes and he lies a lot in every ways, but his general approach to dealing things tends to be all very straightforward. So I like that Jessie was asking him, okay, if I get Genesis, what's going to stop me from just saying, hey, I don't want to be the Messiah now, and going off? And Starr really just dealing with the, hey, let's throw the plots away to the side. Let's forget all this stuff. If we don't have time for it, there is something a bit more important going on, end of the world type things, though he hasn't really told Jessie that part yet. What do you think of the idea of just asking for a promise? You know, it's a simple way of showing power. It's a simple way of granting power, of just asking permission, because nothing is forced. It's just a request. But Starr knows how much a promise means to Jesse, and that's always kind of, I think, the fatal flaw is, oh my God, you're a good person that will do good things. How can I use that against you? So and he sets Jesse up well. Okay, great. You promise you're not going to do this, and I promise we're going to give you your soul, and everything's going to be great. Just one thing. You got to kill this guy when I open the door, and he thinks that I am delivering you. Which makes sense. Was wondering at the end of the last episode when the Allfather was asking about Jesse Custer, and it was never really brought up on Starr's end at any point. But this is, again, Starr's bits of manipulation. He knows how badass Jesse is. He knows Jesse could do it. Starr can't do it himself. I think, I'm not sure if it's just, it would look bad if he did. Because Jesse is going to be the new Messiah, that he can get away with taking out the Allfather more than Starr could. It's just sort of an interagency power grab. Not really sure. Or it's just a way to get the Allfather to drop his guard as much as possible and then give Jesse the opportunity to do it. So, yeah, for Jesse, that was kind of a shocking reveal. It's not going to be as simple as just walking in and swallowing your soul and activating Genesis. There is a large obstacle in your way. A very, very large obstacle. Still don't think that'll be a problem for Jesse. So like I had said at the beginning here, we had a couple of big revelations through this episode. But one other one was the real fate of Jesse's mom. And showing just more of that darkness within Granny. And I think that she has done this so well. That scene when she's just begging Jesse, okay, you're not going to leave. You can't leave me. We've got this food coming and you're not going to go. You're going to come and you're going to come back, right? Yeah, you're going to give me what you want, right? Right, all emotional tears coming on. Because if you don't, then I'm going to tear you in half and suck your soul out and send you to hell just like I did your mom. No, Granny, I'm not gonna leave. I'll come back. Fuck. Oh, sorry. I mean, again, it's just so positive, so emotional, so drawing in, and then you just hear, okay, so that's what happened to Mom. You kind of suspected what may have been, but no. Torn in half, soul sucked dry, sent straight to hell. No wonder Jesse wants to take out Granny. I mean, we knew. He had plenty of reasons, but that one, yeah, Granny got to go down. All right, so I think that's going to wrap things up for tonight. Now, there are only 3 episodes left. Guess we're just going to 10. I thought we were going to 13, but no, just to 10. 3 more episodes in the season, so a lot of ground to cover to wrap things up. Got to get to Osaka, got to get the souls. Jesse's got to get his soul back, got to take out the Allfather, got to get Genesis, got to take out Granny, wrap all of that up, and not kill Tulip in the process. So a lot of stuff to cover, and I am sure we're going to see a bit more about Hell's expansion project. So really looking forward to that. Anyway, that is it for tonight. Thank you so much for watching this. And if you did enjoy it, please go ahead and hit that like button. Thoughts, ideas, and comments, you know where to put them. Right down in the section below. You can always catch me on Twitter and Instagram. I am at Darren Jakes. Please subscribe if you're not. Quick, easy, 1 button press. You catch the all rest of the reviews. We got the Gifted coming up this fall. Plus, I might be doing a little Marvel flashback reviews. I'm going to find out. I'm looking into a few things. So, I'll throw up a couple of our latest you can check out right here. And that's going to be it. So, thank you so much. I'm D, and I'm out of here. Catch you guys next time. Bye-bye.